So I have my notes over here. So if I keep looking over here, that's why my notes. Also known as my other light, so that I have more light on my face. No, come back screen. I didn't mean to push buttons. Thank you. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Optimistic Underdog podcast, where official sports news gets talked about by unofficial sports people. I am Erica, your host, and with me tonight, I have one of the best people in the entire world, my very good friend, Joe Wilson. Joe, what is up?
Not much. Also, first off, why are you blowing smoke? Just because I'm here, it doesn't mean you have to throw all the compliments at me. I'm just a regular dude on the internet. I appreciate it though. It's great to finally be able to talk some video game or not video games. I do video games on my own time, but to actually sit and talk sports with somebody who really is into sports as much as I am. So,
I'm so excited. We've been waiting for this day for a long time to talk sports, and it is
oh gosh,
finally here. So I'm
yes,
super pumped about tonight.
yeah, me too.
So, all right, well, let's get right into it. Let's waste no time. Joe, what is your big story for this past week?
Uh, the biggest story for sure for me that I've thought of was besides, the fact that the Super Bowl is uh, tomorrow as a recording.
Mhm.
Uh, we have an EA Sports is finally bringing back NCAA or a college football video game.
It
Like
sure is.
after what 7 years? No,
7 years,
well,
I
six
think.
years.
Yeah,
No, eight
pretty
years
close.
because it released in 2013,
Hmm. Yep.
which was NCAA 14, which is now 21 or it's 2021. So this game probably won't be coming out until I want to say like 3 or 4 years maybe. But
Yeah.
yeah, the fact that that's officially gonna or is in the works is great for all fans of the college football games because I like college football. I'm not as heavily uh, invested in it as I was when I was in college, mostly because
Mhm.
the USC Trojans aren't as great nowadays. Now it's all SEC teams, and it's like,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, I'm happy for SEC teams, but there's a bias against the Pac-12 or West Coast teams in anything really. But yeah, I'm pumped. I hope that this leads to actual um the student athletes actually getting paid for the likenesses.
Oh,
I
it'd
know
be
that there
great.
were issues with it in the first place
Hmm.
when it first launched, saying that they're looking into the whole EA and the development team are looking into the situation about like who whether they do end up paying players for their likenesses, but even still, it's like pay college players. Doesn't matter
Yep.
who or where they play. Like they're one of the main reasons why college institutions make so much money is because they're making money off of their student athletes. Yes, tuition and uh, room and board and all the other expenses that they get from regular students, but like these are people who are working for you guys. You might as well pay them. But
Absolutely. I completely agree. And also, huge USC fan, has always been my team right there.
fight
Love
on.
it. Uh, but even over here, I mean, I know in Pennsylvania, we've got always Penn State versus Pitt, always a huge thing over here.
Mhm.
And I'm so excited. I was always a bigger fan, I think, of the college football games rather than the NFL series games. I don't
Mhm.
think I've played a Madden game in years, probably since then, like the Super Nintendo games.
Mhm.
I think it was probably one of the last ones
Mhm.
I played. I mean, and then even then, I think it was more like the Blitz games and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm so excited that EA is bringing back the college football games, and it's great. And again, huge thing. Pay the players for their likenesses, because you can't tell me they're not going to use someone's likeness somewhere in those games. You have too many big names in these games. A
Mhm.
lot of these players are even becoming household names. I mean, everyone knows these kids who are playing for Alabama and all these, bigger
Yep.
colleges, they have to put these, give these kids something if they're going to be using them in the games. And I mean, I know that there were some talks of, oh, well, they'll just use these generic players or something like that. I mean, if they're going to sell these games, they need to do it right, and they need to do right by the players and the colleges and everything. And I really think they need to pay the players on these for sure.
Yeah. Like one of the highest paid head coaches in in college football is Nick Saban.
Yep.
He makes what, millions of dollars?
Tons of
Like,
money.
and it's off of the backs of all the players that he's coached over the years. Like, granted, I'm not knocking anything against Nick Saban or any other or not. They're not pros because they're in college,
Yeah.
but uh, it still bothers me the fact that this is an issue in 2021 when the NCAA was originally made to protect players
Hmm.
from, you know, any disaster that might happen. And now, oh, if a kid decides that I'm broke and I can't pay for food for the week, if I accept $100 for to buy groceries for my dorm and I'm not starving, oh, that's a violation and that kid's gonna get
Yep.
suspended and have his scholarship revoked and all that crap. It's like, really, you're gonna do
Yeah.
this to a kid who
Hmm.
doesn't know, who might actually need that, who doesn't come
Yeah.
from like a well-off family. And it's
Exactly.
like, y'all are doing the extra stuff. Like,
Hmm.
come on.
Which even in the end could potentially affect his draft position if that stuff happens, which,
Yeah,
if he's getting suspended from games and his scholarship gets affected, that could potentially even affect his draft, which is huge for these kids playing in college. You just can't do that. Also, Nick Saban, in 2020, his salary was $9.1 million. $9.1 million for a college football coach. That is insane. Crazy.
the
That's a lot.
one of the one of the best college football programs. Yes,
Mhm.
does
Yeah,
he deserve it?
absolutely.
I would.
Mm,
That's up to other people to decide. But like,
yeah.
you're telling me that how they couldn't,
Toss the kids a little something.
$100 a month
Yeah,
or two,
something.
like $400 a month. I mean, I don't know who the hell can live off of more than 400 a month if you're a college kid.
Yeah,
Granted, college kids will do all sorts of random
college kid
unnecessary
stuff.
college
Yeah.
kid stuff. So I can understand part of it, but like, these are kids.
Yeah.
You guys are exploiting minors.
Mhm.
I,
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely. Very excited
Double A,
about the game,
the
but
NCAA
also
is a massive joke.
it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely. 100% agree. Excited about the game, but also y'all need to pay the kids.
exactly.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to the next big story of the week, which mine is, while still in the sports realm, not necessarily due to sports, I want to talk about Wasana Health, which is a new business started by former NHL player Daniel Carcillo. Lots of people know him by his nickname Car Bomb, which was due to his extraordinarily reckless play on the ice, and co-founder Chad Bronstein, which he's just your typical businessman.
Mhm.
Uh, Carcillo suffered many concussions, as he says, thousands of concussive and subconcussive blows to the head while playing in the NHL. And he retired at the age of 30 just due to how many, blows to the head he took. He was suffering from a lot of traumatic brain injury stuff, the depression, memory loss, slurred speech, just a slew of things that are all related to that. Um, and after he lost his grandfather and his best friend, Steve Monador, in 2015, Steve passed away at the age of 35. And after he passed away, they did find out he had CTE. Um, And it was kind of due to that he passed away so young. Um, so Carcillo retired early, went through lots of the traditional medical stuff, trying to figure out what was wrong, trying to take care of himself, things like that. And it wasn't until he was introduced to, I'm going to try to say this right, psilocybin mushrooms, where he began to see major health improvements, which was, fantastic. So he really started to dig deeper into this side of the medical treatment and really become an activist and big speaker on how much it really helped him and improved his life.
Mm.
So, yeah, like I said, he became very vocal, very avid supporter for the use of psychedelics to treat traumatic brain injuries. And now he has started this, this new business with Chad Bronstein, which is super, super cool. I think I've always been, really interested in this side of the sports world. I guess there was a time in 2011. There was in a 4-month period, hockey had lost three previous enforcers, I guess we call them. Wade Bellick at 35, whose death was ruled accidental. Rick Ripon, who was 27, who passed away from suicide, and Derek Bogard, 28, who died from an accidental drug and alcohol overdose. They all three passed away within a 4-month period. And that really hit the hockey world hard, all so young, all recovering from different traumatic brain injuries, all found to have CTE after they passed away. And Daniel Carcillo, like I said, he has been, I think, the biggest advocate for treating hockey players and just other athletes after they retire for these traumatic brain injuries and things like that. Because so often you see after they retire, it's kind of like, well, good luck, guys. Have fun.
Yeah.
Try to figure it out on your own. And this is really cool. So the goal of Wasana Health is to make these treatments available to all victims of traumatic brain injuries, and they will rely primarily on compounds derived from the psilocybin mushrooms to treat them. So, which I implore anybody. Daniel Carcillo has done a ton of stuff on the Players Tribune to talk about his path to getting better. I highly encourage anybody to read up on those articles because they are fantastic. They are some of the most emotional videos and articles I've ever read. From someone who used to despise watching him play, even though he was on the Penguins team for a little bit. But he was always one of the hardest guys ever out there. He won 2 Stanley Cups with the Chicago Blackhawks. Man, that guy could play. But he is one heck of a guy. And this is, I feel, a great step towards trying to get some of these guys the help they need after they retire from sports, especially these guys that are getting bounced around like this all the time.
Yeah, for sure. But also, sidebar, shout out to the Players Tribune for being something that a lot of professional athletes can go to just get their thoughts out there. Because
Absolutely.
I know that Kevin Love, for anybody who doesn't know, he's a power forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he talked about his struggles with mental health. And I think DeMar DeRozan, small forward for the San Antonio Spurs, he talked about his mental health issues. So the fact that this one site has been a platform for professional athletes to be vulnerable and get anything that they're any like impending issues that they have with within themselves out, to give that to other people who might think that, you know what, this person was dealing with this, maybe maybe it's in a way to give to understand, like, oh, I'm not the only one who has these issues. And going back to the using psychedelics as a coping mechanism for like helping with CTE, I'd say, yeah, if all the other things aren't working, why not try something else? I'm a proponent for legalizing marijuana because, like, it's a massive stress reliever. I mean, I don't smoke it that much. I don't smoke it, period. But like, I know what it does for other people. Like,
Yep.
it. why is it illegal? It's because people want to make money off
Mhm.
of pills and stuff.
Other things. He's actually shared, I do believe, results from his brain scans
Mhm.
before and after he was treated with these psychedelics and the improvements. There's actually a hand like physical improvements in
Mhm.
his brain that show that it's actually healing.
Mhm.
Like it's not even just like a helping him feel better, it's making him better, which is amazing just to
Exactly.
see like the difference that it can actually have for somebody. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great I know there are some places where that this stuff is starting to actually make waves that you can actually, get a hold of it and it's a viable treatment option, which is fantastic because why shouldn't it be? And like you said, it's got so much to do with the pharmaceutical side of things where, they just don't want to see like they're like, no, no, just keep doing the traditional route of things. Now, why do we have to do the traditional route of things when we obviously can find things that aren't traditional that
Yeah.
are going to work for us? Like, I mean, not everybody is the same, and this could work for some people and maybe might not work for others. But
Yeah.
hey, why not? But yes, and like you said, back to speaking on the Players Tribune, seeing that this stuff affects athletes and them being so open and honest with their thoughts and feelings is a phenomenal thing because it does help, us who are like, oh man, yeah, I'm going through this rough time, but so is this guy that I really look up to. Like
Mhm.
it's also I know some of my favorite articles, and actually I'm wearing his jersey right now. Marc-Andre Fleury, when he left Pittsburgh, was one of the hardest days of my life, but he penned a beautiful letter called "Thank You Pittsburgh" that's on the Players Tribune, and I can't even read it because it makes me cry. I don't think I've ever gotten all the way through that article. I think almost every article I've read on that site has made me cry because those who know me know there are a few things that make me cry: sports and music, typically, but and anime. So, yeah, that's about it.
I
Uh,
mean, to be honest, those are pretty good reasons to cry.
yep,
So I get
those
it.
are about the ones that get me: sports, music, and anime. So I'm gonna leave them there. But yeah, those articles they are tearjerkers for sure. And but like I said, the ones that Daniel Carcillo, I remember watching the video he did about Steve Monador, and I finished watching it, and I was a disaster. And my mom looked at me and she goes, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Daniel Carcillo made me cry," and she goes, "What?" And I walked out of the room. And I just couldn't even do it. It was yeah, it was oh phenomenal stuff he's doing though. Definitely check out all the stuff he's been doing.
The
So
positive thing is that because he's such a high profile person, he's able to have that platform to
mhm,
show other people like, hey, uh, maybe everybody else should look into this, not just
exactly.
because he has that name recognition
Hmm. It's fantastic. It's good. So
for
let's
sure.
hope that it gets out there for everyone. So up next, let's talk about what is big coming up. So I think we both have the same big thing coming up, which is as of when this gets released, will be tonight. That big game that's tomorrow. That's
The Superb Owl
Superb Owl.
number 55, I believe it is.
55, I think it is tomorrow. Yes. Superb Owl 55. So what do you think? What do you think about that big game?
It's my favorite time of the year
Yeah.
because I love football. Anybody
Hmm.
who knows me knows that I am a massive football fan.
Hmm.
I'm of two minds. One, I really don't like Tom Brady.
Hmm.
The main reason is because in the 2000, I want to say 2002 AFC divisional round, there
Okay.
was this BS rule that came out called the Tuck rule.
Hmm.
And because of that, it screwed the Raiders out of a potential Super Bowl. Because
I remember this.
honestly, the Raiders were that damn good, and they could have won that damn Super Bowl
Hmm.
against the Rams. So that's why I hate Tom,
That's fair.
because we've been on a downward spiral ever since. So now on the other side, I absolutely despise the Kansas City Chiefs
Okay.
because I am a massive Raider fan.
That's fair.
Um, I have nothing but respect for Andy Reid for being, one of the best
Mhm.
head coaches of the past, I'll say of all time.
Oh, wow.
The
Yeah.
fact that he has, a Super Bowl in his under his ring last year is like, yeah, you're officially in that top tier of head coaches. I
Mhm.
love the fact that the face of the NFL is uh, is a black quarterback.
Mhm.
Granted, he's half, but still, he's black. We're
Mhm.
gonna claim him. But and the fact that that man got a $500 million contract extension is like wild. And he's also
Yep.
part owner of the Kansas City Royals. Get
Mhm.
your money, man. Proud of you, happy for you, but massive F you because I hate the Chiefs. Um, but honestly, I'm glad I'm not a massive degenerate, so that I'm not putting out all these prop bets for like,
Mhm.
oh, what's is it going to be heads or tails for the coin flip? Is it going to be how long's the national anthem going to go for?
What
Uh,
color Gatorade is it gonna
what
be
color
on?
Gatorade? Yeah. Uh, how many players are going to be throwing a pass? Not
Mhm.
quarterbacks,
Players.
players.
Yeah.
Period. Throwing a pass or over unders of scores and stuff like that. It's way over my knowledge base, so I'm glad
Mhm.
that I don't do that. I just play daily fantasy and like throw $5, and I'm like, okay, cool. If it hits, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. But if I had to pick, I don't know. I
It's rough this year.
for
It's
sure.
rough. Like,
I Yeah. Go ahead.
it's very difficult because I'm kind of in the same boat as so I hate Tom Brady for a different reason. It's because being on the East Coast, we just hate Tom Brady because he's Tom Brady, and that's what you do over here is you hate Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Um, Now that he's in Florida, I mean, I guess I can hate him a little less, but whatever. I still just that's just the thing over here. If you don't live in Boston, you hate Tom Brady.
cool.
Um, he's
Yeah.
yeah, he's been there forever, and that's just like that's what I know. Like that's all I know. And when he retires, I don't know what I'm gonna do anymore. Like who am I supposed to hate? It's
Patrick
weird.
Mahomes.
Okay, there you go. um, but I have a different thing with this. So being now I'm kind of a little bit like with football as I am in hockey. Obviously, I'm a Pittsburgh girl. I love my Penguins. I love my Steelers, but I like football. I have teams. I'm a huge I know this is weird. I love Nick Foles. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks out there, and it's weird. I know.
Okay.
But and I just and
Praise the name.
I, I'm honestly a big Raiders fan too. Which I know, I always every time I see somebody's with Raiders stuff, the first thing I do is I message you going, I saw someone with Raiders gear on today,
I appreciate it every time.
all the time. I always do it. I just, I was always a Dolphins fan because I was just I love as a big Marino fan. Like, I follow players from where they are. I mean, Marino was a big thing in Pittsburgh, so obviously I was a Dolphins fan for a long time. Love USC. I love players from USC, so I follow them around. So I just but here's the thing. I have AB in Florida and I got Le'Veon Bell in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
Two different, bit massive, like,
they both hurt me in
yeah,
different ways,
yeah.
and I don't know what to do. Don't know what
AB hurt me too,
I
so
know,
I
I
totally
know
get
it
it.
hurt you too. I know, so you understand where I'm coming from with that. The
Yes.
only difference is I Le'Veon Bell didn't hurt the same way as AB did. Le'Veon Bell, at least I can understand kind of, but he still sucks. But
Yeah.
like at least he wasn't the drama queen that AB always was.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing in it, but still, as far as if you had to tell me I have to pick right now, who do I think is gonna win tomorrow? I couldn't answer that question. I have no idea. Like normally I could all in be like, this is who I think is gonna win. I can't do that today. I have
Mhm.
no clue. Like it could go either way, honestly. And I think it's gonna be an interesting game.
Yeah,
Like I don't think I've been this excited to watch a Super Bowl that I have no stake in a long time. So,
yeah. I
yeah,
think
it's gonna be weird.
I think okay, part of me is like, du if the if it's not raining, Tampa has a better reason to win
That's
because
fair.
they can actually run the ball.
Yes. Yeah.
And the best way that you can win a game against the Chiefs is to keep Patrick
Mhm.
Mahomes off the field because
Yep.
that Chiefs team can score points quickly and often.
Yeah.
Also, you can't settle for field goals because, as you saw with the Bills,
Yeah.
you start kicking field goals, you're gonna lose. You
Yep.
have to score touchdowns.
You got to score touchdowns. Yep.
But and because Kansas City doesn't really have a good running game, they're probably not they won't be able to well, they're gonna, as I said, they're gonna score points quick, fast, and
Hmm.
hurry. But if it's raining, I'd give a slight edge to the Patriots,
Yeah.
and I can't really go against Tom Brady because he is the goat.
Hmm. Yeah.
But if it's a clear sky, part
There's
of me
yeah.
thinks, yeah, it's Kansas City.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting for sure tomorrow. I'm kind of well, it's just it's a Super Bowl. I'm just excited to watch football again.
Yeah,
That's all. Like
my
I'm
mind,
ready.
my mind says Chiefs. My heart doesn't really say Bucks,
Yeah.
but I'd rather the Bucks win so that the Chiefs don't win. But
Yeah.
it's me being
Yeah.
salty.
That's fair. I understand that one for sure. Like I said, I mean, I don't even have any nothing either way on this one, except like I said, I've got the whole, and that's how most Pittsburgh feels after they realize that those two are on each team. Because most of Pittsburgh right now is just like, I hate Tom Brady. And I'm like, but what about the whole Le'Veon Bell AB thing? And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize that. And I'm like, yeah, now think about it. And they're like, oh, well, I just don't even know now. I'm like, yeah, exactly. No, I don't
Yeah.
even know either. So, yeah,
I would be more surprised if Pittsburgh fans are more leaning towards the Bucks, especially after Antonio Brown.
yeah,
But yeah, with Lev Bell, I can understand why they're like, screw him too.
yeah. I think I said like most people who have a level head about football are not as salty about Lev Bell here. So, you know, and then like I said, most people are just like, screw him, whatever, he left. Cause,
Yeah,
that's just how we are.
yeah,
So, all right, let's get into our silly sports stories because we have a couple and I'm excited about these. So,
yeah.
why don't you show me yours or yeah, go ahead. Tell me yours first.
Okay,
Because I'm
I
excited about this one because I have no idea about this and I did not see this at all this week.
okay. I sent Erica a DM of this
Mhm.
guy. His name, as if I let me pull it back up.
Okay. I think we'll put it in somewhere around here, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. It'll go in somewhere.
Okay, his name is Daniel Kilgore.
Okay.
Uh, as you do in when you're about to be on one of the biggest stages of your professional career, you want to get a
Mhm.
haircut.
Yeah.
Um, so this man is a center for the Kansas City Chiefs,
Okay.
and he basically has half of his head shaved off.
Uh-huh.
Now, the reason why only half of his head is shaved off is because earlier that as he was getting his haircut, the barber for the Chiefs got his test results back for COVID-19
Oh
and
no.
positive. So right in the middle of cutting his hair, they yanked everybody
Oh
from there.
no.
And so this man was just like, I have only half of my hair. So as any good internet person would do, he's put a picture of himself basically with half of his head shaved off and says, "Hey, new profile pic." So
That's fantastic.
yeah,
That
uh,
is great.
I think
Oh my
as far as
goodness.
I know, no, probably like two people were like quarantined off, but
Yeah.
I think everybody made the trip to
I think I
Florida.
did see everybody made the trip because I believe I saw something earlier today about tests being negative. So I think everyone did make the trip to Florida.
Yeah,
So that is good.
yeah. This is one that I was like, oh wow, this yeah, I totally forgot
That's
this was a thing.
hilarious. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
That's funny.
that's my That's my silly story for the
That's
week.
your sleep story. Awesome. All right, I have two quick ones. My first one though is about dude Trevor Bauer, who
Mhm.
just signed with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Um, which I know he's on my little scroll thing down here.
Wish he would
Um,
have signed with the Angels, but that's just me.
that's
He's I'm a baseball
um,
team.
well, hey, I could always this is what I'm gonna tell you, and this is how I feel about baseball. Trevor Bauer signed, and I believe he's making what, 45 million his first season, 40, 45 million, somewhere around there.
Okay,
His
never
first
mind.
season,
He could go to the Dodgers.
um, somewhere around there. Which, in case you're curious, I don't know if this is more silly or heartbreaking, at least for me, but that is more than the entire Pittsburgh Pirates salary. 32-man roster salary for the entire team. Which, if you're ever curious about why the Pirates suck so bad, that would be why.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, um, that's part one of my. I found that out this morning, and I'm like, I need to talk about this because that's just too funny.
Yeah.
Um,
He's going to be playing for the Dodgers, and the
I
Dodgers are
mean,
owned by Magic Johnson is a part owner of it. So of
not
course
the
the, yeah,
Pirates.
and they're not the Pirates or
Yeah,
the Oakland A's because they were I guess a small market team, not small market. They just didn't have their owner was a cheapskate, and so
or sorry, 26-man roster. I didn't mean 26-man roster
mm,
is what it is. But yeah, they the exact quote was what really got me. It was because they broke down his salary, 40 million followed by 40 million, 45 million salary in 2022 is what it was, and then 17 million in 2023.
that's a
Um,
contract if I've ever heard.
yeah, right. So that's a lot of money. In fact, more than the Pittsburgh Pirates are slated to pay every player on their 26-man roster. Gregory Polanco, which is our big name guy on our team, is guaranteed 11.6 million in salary this year. Okay, 11.6.
Oh
Um,
God.
yeah. Uh, but where was there was a really great, hilarious line. Um, oh, a Bauer salary doesn't just make the Pirates, who aren't even trying to appear competitive this year, look small. It also makes the Dodgers look even more like baseball's looming Death Star. I just thought it was hilarious because it's like, yeah, no, the Pirates don't even try anymore. It's like, yeah, basically that's about where we're at. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the reminder that we just don't try anymore here. Cause we literally tried to get some guy, like I think we started a GoFundMe for some literally random guy off the street to buy the Pirates last year here. It was fantastic.
Nice.
All right.
Well,
So that was part one. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say now we have to choose who do we want to actually be competitive? Do we want to actually root for the Dodgers, or do we want the Yankees to come back and just sweep everybody? This is why I don't watch baseball a whole lot.
There you
I'd
go.
rather, I'd rather, I'd much rather an LA team win because I'm a Cali boy. So
There you go.
yeah,
Yay.
but that's just me.
All right. So my other silly story, because we can't go without me talking about, the Penguins a little bit here. Sorry. But this was just hilarious, and I laughed so hard. Brandon Tanev, forward for the Pittsburgh Penguins, got questioned about his headshot that he took with the team earlier this week, and someone did the "Tune Me" filter from Snapchat, I believe it is, on it, which was hilarious. So they asked about his viral headshot, and he said, quote, "I did actually see a ghost. It was walking behind the gentleman who was taking our pictures. Kind of caught me off guard. I haven't seen one of those things yet. So that's why I had that facial expression."
Ah,
So I don't know how serious he's being, but this just further proves on why this guy is one of my favorite players. This man is scrappy. He takes so many hits and somehow keeps getting up, but also he sees ghosts apparently when he's getting his headshot taken, which the look on his face is just fantastic. I know I sent you the picture, and it will, like I said, pop up here like the other one. But yes, he saw a ghost and it was hilarious. And I just, like I said, I every day love this boy more and more, and I'm so glad he is part of our team now. So
that's so funny.
it's
God.
fantastic. Which is great. It's
I
great. Like I have nothing else to say about that other than it's just hilarious. So
He had to have seen something that might have like
just
spooked
like
him a bit,
yeah,
but yeah,
that look yeah. That look is just great. I love it so much. It's fantastic. Maybe it was flashbacks from the hit the night before. I don't know, because that, like I said, that boy takes some hits and somehow keeps getting up. They're just, I don't get it. Like,
There
it
you
just
go.
he keeps going. But whatever, man. As long as he keeps getting up, I'm happy.
Exactly.
So that's great. Awesome. Well, hey, that wraps up another episode of Optimistic Underdog. Joe, please tell the great folks at home where they can find you at.
Well, you guys can find me on the Twitter at Afro Cyborg. I mostly tweet about video games, my podcast that I do. Hey, side note, follow my podcast at Grab the Sticks, where I talk about video games with
Do
my
it.
co-host Floyd Bishop. We really
Mhm.
like video games, and we're all a bunch of dumbasses who don't know what we're doing. So enjoy it. But yeah, I tweet about sports, anime, video games, or whatever BS is going on in my head. Most probably 9 times out of 10, like, random horny shit. So hey,
Go follow that podcast. Go check him out. Like I said, he's awesome. Talks about sports. I'm sure you'll see him here again sometime soon.
more
So
than likely.
yeah. And then, like I said, you can find me, at theoupod.com. Check out the YouTube page, the Patreon, all that good stuff. And I'm sure you'll see me soon in another episode for over there. But until next time, keep it unofficial.